Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis, and what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is something in the TWAB that actually I kind of glossed over previously, but it is definitely something the more I've thought about that's going to make Void 3.0 a little bit stronger in the PvE settings, especially when it comes to damage mitigation. And the main quote I'm talking about here is they said, while Void has maintained a solid position in PvE since Void 3.0 released, the survivability benefit of Void Overshields didn't quite land where we intended due to a bug. I had no idea this bug existed, and I don't know if anybody did, to be honest with you. Seems like it's kind of new information, at least to me. We're fixing that bug in Season 19, which should increase the Overshield's viability as a protection tool in high-level PvE. So the Void Overshield, they have fixed an issue where the Overshield was only providing a 25% PvE only damage resistance to the Overshield, rather than a 50%. So the PvE damage resistance to the Overshield is going to be twice as strong next season. Now, this comes into play in multiple ways. I normally play Titan. I'm hanging out on my Warlock right now for a reason, but I normally play Titan. Now, why is that important? We know mostly because when it comes to your buffs, you are armored and with a protective barrier from Void Light. Reduces damage taken from combatants, but they don't say how much, but it is nice. Now, as a Titan, I can throw my melee, I can put up a barricade depending on the aspect that I've got on, and I can get an Overshield that's pretty potent. It's actually rather strong. I can help out my teammates, I can do many things with my Overshields, because that's kind of the Titan's big one. Because Warlocks, you guys got Devour. That one's obviously a big one. You know, we've all got multiple ways to weaken targets because, you know, it can have a grenade weaken a target. We've got different options. You've got suppression. There are different abilities. But for Overshields, that's a lot of a Titan thing. So when you think of a Warlock, Devour is a big one, of course, because being able to feast on the energy of your defeated foes, final blows restore you to full health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. So, and then if you defeat a target with avoidability, you activate Devour. So in general, it's a nice cycle. But you don't have that Overshield, it's just health. Overshields tend to have to come from other players, which generally is going to be a Titan if they're with you. If not, it's a little bit harder. Now, the reason I bring this up is twofold. One, there is a perk going around they've added into the game. It's called Repulsor Brace. And the reason I bring that up is because right now, there's a pulse rifle called Yesteryear coming from Gambit that you can get it to drop on. Now, defeating a Void debuff target. Void debuff can be suppression, weaken, volatile, does not matter. Defeating a Void debuff target of any kind grants an Overshield. This is one of the, kind of more consistent ways that both the Warlock and the Hunter are going to be able to get an Overshield. Titans are going to be able to get Overshields frequently, and they're going to be stronger, so Titans don't sleep on the fact that your Overshield might actually be better than you think it is come next season. It is going to be that way. But for Warlocks and Hunters, there's not always as many ways to get an Overshield. You can go invisible. For Hunters, you guys can do that very well. It's kind of not fair sometimes, especially in PvP. And this is more of a PvE thing, but invisibility is still a nice way for survival. Warlocks, you guys have Devour, you get your health back when you get kills. Cool, keep it going. You know, fire a melee, do a grenade, pop your super, have that Nova Bomb go explode. All those things are continuing to refresh that Devour. But it's just your normal health. The fact that you can actually take any of those debuff targets now, maybe you suppress something. Child of the Old Gods is probably one of the best combinations for this, because when you cast your Rift, your little Void Soul hangs out, and then you damage somebody, it goes out and weakens them. And also, this gives you an alternative of what to play, because when a target is being drained, you are granted grenade energy and melee health if you're running a Healing Rift. If you're running an Empowering Rift and you want that extra damage, now you can actually get health back while it is being drained. So you can get health. Theoretically, you can have Devour working, so your health is doing pretty solid. And then if this target is weakened, you can now give yourself an Overshield. And it's going to last about 12 seconds. It's not going to go crazy, but the other piece is Echo of Persistence. Void buffs to you, Invisibility, Overshield, and Devour, probably something a Warlock should have on all the time, most of us should, have increased duration. Now, you've got other things, melee final blows, start health regeneration, you've got lingering effects, you've got a lot of different ways to go. And again, Void ability final blows cause target to explode, you can make things volatile. When you get a grenade kill, I believe I saw that somewhere when I was messing around, yeah. Defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds for your Void weapons. Also with, you know, avoidability, you get Devour. So now you're making things volatile, and you get Grenade, and you get Devour up. Then if you have Volatile, then you can actually use the volatile rounds to kill those enemies. It's volatile, it's debuffed, and you can turn around and get that Overshield if you get that kill with something like Yesteryear. Lean into some mods or elemental wells or things like that that are going to take advantage of this void buff. And you've got a really, really fun cycle going here for a Warlock. Titans are going to be able to get Overshields frequently. They are going to be stronger. But the Warlock especially is where I see probably the biggest use for this. And this is why I just wanted to point it out, is because it's a cool combination of things. Like the Titan, Overshield, Bubbles, you know, your melee giving you an Overshield, that's our thing. But Titan, Warlocks, not so much. So let me load into a mission. I want to show you guys just as a solo player, kind of what this looks like and where the Overshield pops up, how long it lasts, and just to show you guys an example of how this is going to be useful going forward. So let me load in. Alright, so I am in this mission on Legend, kind of the opening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my Empowering Rift, so I got my Void Soul. I'm going to fire an attack on this guy. Once the Drain is on, I can get that quick kill, and I've got a 12-second Overshield now. So this is where this comes into play. It's going to last for a while. I am taking some damage, but maybe I want to go for a Suppression. Void Overshield is back. Same thing. So the fact that all this can kind of proc in a nice way, and if I pick this thing up, I'll probably spawn the next set of enemies. My well is back, so I can do this. Let me see if I can tag one of those guys. Come on. And again, there's my Devour working. And it's this combination of Devour and Overshield that is going to just allow some more survivability. So this is why I wanted to bring this up. One, Overshields for Titans. Don't sleep on this. Titans, Overshields, they're going to be stronger. You should feel that. And if you have a Titan with you, having them run a Towering Barricade, obviously with the aspect that gives the Overshield, going to be a really good idea for Void. But the other idea is for any of you that are playing, there are some weapons that can drop with Repulsor Brace. So let me show you what those are so you can kind of keep an eye out, and then we'll wrap this thing up. The last piece here, this is light.gg. This is going to be a list of weapons that you're going to be able to potentially get with Repulsor Brace. Now, I showed you Yesteryear. That's dropping in Gambit right now. Depending on how much time you're willing to put into Gambit, Yesteryear drops pretty frequently, but it's probably going to take you a little bit of RNG luck to get one with Yesteryear. If you get one, if you see one, if you have one, hold on to it and keep it in mind for this. Now, Hollow Denial, that's craftable from last season of the Haunted. Trace Rifles eventually will probably find a good spot. The Taipan, I know everybody probably can get this. If you haven't got it, please. It is like the DPS beast. Like, this should be the floor for DPS, basically, right now. So get that one. But you can also get it with Repulsor Brace. And depending on your setup, if you're going solo, you know, if you debuff an enemy out there and then you use a Linear Fusion Rifle and you get an Overshield, that's going to be nice. The other half, now it's rare. I actually got my one craftable frame to drop on this thing from Dares of Eternity, so I can actually craft one of these things now. That being said, I know it's really, really hard to come by, so just if you see it, know that this thing can get it. Unforgiven and Epicurean are both from the Duality Dungeon. Hero's Burden is going to be an SMG coming from Iron Banner, and then you got Doom of Chelchis from King's Fall. These are the weapons that can roll with Repulsor Brace. Notice it's all void, but the other piece is quite a few of these can be crafted. Doom can be crafted, Hollow Denial can be crafted, Taipan, other half. Those are the ones that can be crafted, so you can intentionally work towards getting one of these weapons and make something that has this. Whether it's a pulse rifle, this is going to have some RNG, but pulse rifles for champions, very common. Whether it's like, maybe it's barrier, maybe it's unstoppable. Pulse rifles tend to have some champion, you know, something to them almost every season, I swear. Same thing with scouts. Scouts here with Doom of Chelchis and Repulsor Brace and something higher. If you're a Warlock, you could run that Empowering Rift to get a little bit more damage, as opposed to the Healing Rift. If you want to try just a different mentality, then you've got your Curse of the Old Gods with your little Void Soul going out there. Then that thing is healing you, and then theoretically, if you get that kill, then you've got that Overshield. If it's a big group of enemies, the Curse will be working on more, so kill the little ones, get the Overshields. it's just one of those things I wanted to point out. I don't know if this is going to be like God mode because I got to get my hands on it next season, and I wouldn't expect it to be broken because they're fixing a bug. But to get 25% more damage mitigation from an Overshield, and pair that with some weapons that are going to allow classes that don't typically see Overshields now to be able to get them on a more frequent basis, I just think that's a good combination. Overshield with twice the damage mitigation, and then now a weapon, or at least a perk on certain weapons that allows you to be able to get Overshields, especially if you're not a Titan. You may not see them that often, but you debuff enemies all the time as Void, so then having a way to get that Overshield on a consistent basis could be very, very good. So that's pretty much what I wanted to point out. Biggest thing I can tell you guys is just keep it in mind. Play some Gambits, see if you can get 1 or 2 Repulsor Brace to drop. It's actually, I mean, I love the Pulse Rifle because it's a Suros Pulse Rifle. You've got Run and Gun, you've got Suros Synergy. All of this stuff is going to hit pretty well. There's probably a much better roll than this one. I mean, those two aren't bad, but that could definitely be better. But it's just the idea of Repulsor Brace is something that's going to allow you, as any class, to be able to get Overshields maybe in that moment where you couldn't. It's going to allow you to kind of mix up your playstyles a little bit, and Overshields are just going to be stronger in general next season. So don't sleep on Overshields, don't sleep on Void, and definitely don't sleep on Repulsor Brace. If you see one on a weapon, save it, and then theoretically might get some use out of it later. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like below, leave a comment if you've got any piece of this discussion I put out for you guys that maybe I missed, maybe some other way to make it even better. And there's going to be elemental wells, and there's going to be combinations where you can make it probably even stronger, but this is just the general idea of the perk, the weapon, and kind of a basic example. So again, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the alert bell. Nice new way to support me, and I've got more content coming to you guys pretty much all the time. If you want to find me over on Twitch or Twitter, I'm Ebontis over there. Twitch, I will be playing God of War on stream, basically Wednesday onward until I finish it, so if you want to check that one out. God of War Ragnarok, I'll be playing that one. If you guys are right here, if you're already subscribed and you're a YouTube member or a Patreon sub, thank you guys for the extra support. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the next one, and good luck out there.